How many times have you hired somebody even though you knew they weren't great because it was easier for you to just let them hang around than it was for you to go and replace them and start all over again? This is the piece that's missing in almost every single law firm I've ever worked with. As the owner of a law firm, have you ever found yourself hiring somebody and then 90 days later realizing, oh my gosh, I made a mistake? When you interview them or you thought for sure you could trust them, some of you have told me, you know what, Rich, I hired them and they didn't even start on the first day and I thought they were going to be the perfect employee. Why is that? It's not a people problem. It's a systems problem. Most business owners, when they're recruiting for their team members, rely on hope or a little bit of luck. Hope and luck are not great recruiting strategies. So what I'm here to tell you is that there's a way to increase your likelihood of success and decrease the possibility of failure if we just add one step into the recruiting process. We call that step the skills test. Now, if you remember in a past training, I revealed to you what we call a hiring system. This hiring system is where we're paying attention to when we decide that we need to hire somebody, when we go through the recruiting process, and then we onboard them, then we put them through training, then we manage them, and then we scale accordingly when we have this process nailed. Inside of the recruiting process is what we're going to look at today. And there's 5 basic steps inside the recruiting process that we follow when we recruit for our clients' firms. And then inside of that, there are 5 steps you're going to need to take. So you're going to walk away with the exact 10 steps you need in order to run a better recruiting process to increase your likelihood of success and decrease your likelihood of failure. Let's break into it. When you look at the recruiting architecture, recruiting system, the first stage is this application filter. But let's assume that once you get them to raise their hand, they apply. And then you put them through that application process. And then you schedule a screening call. And the screening call is where you're basically vetting them and giving them the lay of the land of the job. And you're getting a feeling as to whether or not they're qualified. You're asking them some disqualification questions that if they answer in the positive, we're eliminating them. The next thing we have to do is we have to run this skills test. You can see that's the 3rd step in here. And this reason is because we believe the evidence is found about what works inside of your recruiting process, what's working for this particular candidate, and maybe better said, what's not working. Then we move on to the background and personality test, and then we go into final interview, decision, and making an offer. And so before they get to stage 4, we're running background checks or we're doing a final interview, we have to see if they can actually do the job. Now, here's what's interesting. A lot of law firm owners go, well, don't I have to hire them first before I have them do some job? No, you'd be surprised that in today's working environment, people will jump through hoops and will go through a skills-based testing process in order to get a quality job with a quality employer like yourself. If you want to learn more about this, visit us at thestaffingroom.com. There's all sorts of resources there. As you go through the process of staffing your law firm, we want to walk alongside you and give you the tools you need to be able to accomplish that goal. Now, there's 5 steps to this basic skills test. You have to start by understanding what the job does. So, like, what are the tasks that need to be done in that job on a daily basis? Is it presentation-based tasks, like they're doing a sales presentation, presenting a petition, signing documents to clients, or is it process-based? Process-based, by the way, is fill out this spreadsheet, fill out this form, do this to this document, fill out this document this way, write this brief, whatever, right? An intake agent has both. They have presentation-based, they have to be on the phone and recite a script and structure, and they have process-based. They have to go into your CRM and put in notes, and they have to send emails and trigger texts and so on and so forth. Once you understand that, then you can start building the next 5-step process. Every skill has 5 basic components to it. The first thing is you got to give them a real task. So you got to say to them, listen, I want you to do this thing. Let's say that it's an intake agent. I need you to memorize this script and structure within a time period. And then you need to give them clear instructions. Like, this is exactly what you're going to memorize. This is exactly how you're going to graduate. And then maybe it's going to be, this is how you submit it. You're going to meet with me on Thursday and we're going to graduate you together. And then finally, we're going to have your scorecard. And this is so important. Have to have the scorecard done before you even start this test so that the candidate that you're putting through the test, you don't get lulled into their charismatic ways. You actually score them on their ability. By the way, this works if it's a paralegal, same concept, right? Real task. Let's test their technical skills. Do they have good Microsoft Word or Google Workplace product knowledge? Can they get around there? Great. Let's give them some tasks to do within 24 hours. Make sure we record them doing it so that the screen record themselves doing it. And then they have to submit the screen recording and telling us what they're thinking and how they're thinking and why they did what they did. And then we're going to score them. And we're going to have a series of these types of tasks. And so you could do this with absolutely any job that you have. And when you do this, you're going to come out with a clear score about why this team member is more likely to perform than somebody else you just interviewed and hoped that they would perform well. A long time ago, I hired somebody. I kept them on our team for a long time because they were charismatic, they were enthusiastic. And then I brought them in and I tried to train them and I tried to get them up to speed. And at the end of the day, they weren't capable. And instead of firing them, because now I'm bought in, I'm busy, I don't have time, what I did is I just let them go and I moved them to another position where they didn't have so many skills that were involved. And then when it didn't work there, I moved them to another position and another position. And my gosh, 5 years went by before I terminated this team member. And so if I just would have taken a short period of time and put them through this 4-hour test over 4 days, it would have saved me 5 years of absolute aggravation. If you want to build a better law firm team, stop relying on hope and luck and start relying on evidence. I'm telling you, if you just add a skills test into your process, you're going to increase the probability that this person is going to succeed, and you're going to decrease the probability that they are going to fail. If you want to learn more about this, visit us at thestaffingroom.com. There's all sorts of resources there. As you go through the process of staffing your law firm, we want to walk alongside you and give you the tools you need to be able to accomplish that goal.